booties for black girl nerds.
So, you're an executive producer on this series, and EPs do different things depending on the project and the scope of the, different type of show it is. So tell me exactly what your role was as an executive producer, and how did it influence your work as the star of this show?
Yeah, so my role, I honestly came on as an executive producer because it was a fitting position for me to be able to be there at the beginning of the sort of journey of this. George Kay, the writer, came to me with this idea and said, look, this character sits on this plane and it turns out to be a hijack that the audience are not going to expect. And I really loved that. And I wanted to know who he was. So being an EP allowed me to sort of influence story and bring together the sort of pieces that made the entire show what it is in terms of the narrative build. I didn't write it, but I was influential to some degree about what that was. And then also bringing the team together, bringing the cast together, bringing how we were going to pull this off, what it looked like. I didn't sit in day-to-day executive meetings all day long because it was, as an actor, I also had to be on that side of the camera and preparing for that. So that was a sort of what I did, essentially, was be a part of the think tank and bringing it alive. And I separated that from my acting because my acting, I just wanted to be, an artist, take what was written and try and perform that with my best ability without knowing, exactly how many cameras we're using today and how many lighting setups we've got, because that would take me out of that sort of sweet spot, which is this character that's using his natural ability to kind of think things through and get people to sort of look at themselves at a slightly different angle in order to get them to sort of think about what they're doing. And that's what Sam does. I kind of played both actor and EP.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Sam. Sam is a man who's very intuitive, and he uses his skills as a negotiator to benefit him in this situation. What are the advantages as well as the disadvantages of using those skills?
I guess the disadvantage is that, you're using skills that are usually used to bring people together, as in a merger or an acquisition. Okay, they're in two different places right at the 23rd hour, and your job is to kind of get them to sit at the table and sign. Okay, the skill set involved with that is about a little bit of manipulation, a little bit of coercion, a little bit of sort of like, getting to know you, a little bit of using the weaknesses against each other. You're doing that in a negotiation for a hijacking. You're not dealing with people you know or understand their goals. And so you're using these manipulation tactics, which in Sam's case ended up almost having him killed because he was using this manipulation and it was biting him, coming back and biting him in the ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, that was a disadvantage. But the advantage is that he found a way to crack the code to let him in, let him give them a different perspective of this whole situation. And they listened, you know what I'm saying? And I think, the advantage is that he could get in, get them to think about this, manipulate them to do something else, which threw them off their own course. No spoilers, but it was like, that was the advantage of having this negotiating type on the plane.
Yeah. Last question. Family is what keeps Sam tethered in this very stressful situation. Do you think Sam is trying to right the wrongs of his past through the decisions that drive him through this hijacking?
Yeah, I think Sam has definitely neglected his family structure, his family life, and for whatever reason. But what you find him doing in the story, hopefully it comes across, is that you've got to put a bit of yourself in. You know, you can lie to this team, lie to that team, and get them to sign. But in real life, you have to be vulnerable. You have to tell your truth. You have to live your truth. You have to, you know, put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. And I think you see Sam take that journey. You know, he's a man that's hasn't examined his own mental health, and by the end of it and has no choice but to just let his vulnerability show in order to try and save his life, save others as well.
Incredible series. I was dialed all the way in, and
man,
all the
that's
best
great.
to you.
Thank
Have
you so
a
much.
wonderful premiere.
Black Girl Nerds, what's up? Thank you so much.
Thanks, Idris. Appreciate it.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds.